Good afternoon.
Bro, you. Hey, what they mean? Salutations.
I might have to start saying that one.
Salutations.
Bro, back at it, bro.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, that's crazy, bro. You feeling different today.
It's getting late, so I'm feeling amazing.
But you just say good afternoon. So
I
now you misleading them, bro.
I assume that they're listening to it in the afternoon.
But what that got to do with us?
Good morning. It's a greeting, like shalom.
Buenos noches.
Buenos noches. Buenos noches. Buenos noches.
Anyways, bro. How y'all doing, bro?
That boy talking about some Doritos with those tacos. Buenos
You
noches.
gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill. What if we got a Spanish audience, bro?
I just said Taco Bell.
Mexico. Lord, you gotta forgive us.
Hey, I got some friends down there.
1 through 10, bro. We gonna start out with you, bro. 1 through 10.
Appreciate you. 9. You know what? Here's why I'm not at 10. I'm not practicing that self-discipline. I lacked it just a tad bit. So 9 out of 10 with the opportunity to be a 10 out of 10.
Okay, that's real, boy. Cause I keep it raw and cut now. Bro, I'm like a 6, bro. There's no way I can get to a 10. Let me tell you why. So, I had to take my car to the shop today, right? Yeah. I ordered some parts for the car, and I took it, I got it fixed, and they didn't fix the problem. And I dropped the bag on it, bro. I'm sick. The dude was like, hey, so what'd you end up getting these parts for? I'm like, to fix the car? He was like, oh, well, the sound's still there. I'm like, bro.
Wait.
So I'm at a 6, bro.
Wait. Ooh, bro, hey, to be honest, man, I'm gonna have to say about a 5, bro. About a 5.
What has you at 5?
Man,
Raw and uncut.
Just want to say, bro, my mind has not been in the best place, man. And not even just like emotionally, mentally, but also like spiritually as well, man. So it's just, I feel like I'm at the bottom right now. So it's just trying to trend, back up, you know what I'm saying? So, a righteous man may fall 7 times, but he gets back up 8, you know what I'm saying?
How's your peace?
The peace is waning, but we going back up though. We going back up. Trust me, we going back up.
Hey man, I like that.
But
I like the raw, the honesty, the transparency. I love it, bro.
One step at a time.
You're getting back up daily, bro.
And I feel like this topic is really going to be good, regarding my situation. You know what I'm saying? And I think for all of us. So
yeah, and for you guys as well, man. So speaking of the topic, man, we're gonna be discussing today diligence.
Yeah.
The word diligence. So many things that category falls into with diligence, and I'm curious to hear your perspective when you think of diligence and diligence in your life. What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So when I learned this was going to be your topic, I was seeing what that word actually meant. You know what I'm saying? And it was saying it was a persistence of effort, you know what I'm saying? So you're like keeping on going, you're continuing is a different word I thought of. And so as I was thinking about it, I thought of the saying that persistence is the key to success, you know what I'm saying? So for this some pod, like our first episode didn't have as many views as our 18th episode or next one because we kept on going, you know what I'm saying? And even staring at people like Jeff Bezos and all of them always say that they're only successful because they kept on going, you know what I'm saying? You go and you go, bump hits, whatever, keep going, bump hits, whatever, keep on going, you know what I'm saying? So as I think of that word, like those are the things I think of. I think on how, as you just said, a righteous man falls down 7 times and gets back up 8. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's what the word means.
Yeah,
that's tough. I like that. That's good. I mean, and essentially, boiling it down, like getting back up, you realize that there's still more to go, and that's what really breeds that diligence. Understanding, like, I don't need to stop here. The same for you, like the way that you feel today, with whatever it may be going through in your life, it's like you understand that, hey, I don't need to stay right here where I'm at. And that diligence that's really like embedded inside of you is cultivating, is giving you that, that encouragement to go further. And I think that's breathed straight from the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Like, because we know that God's one of his natural characteristics is that he's a worker. He's a constant worker. For 6 days, he worked. Created the world, all these other things, and he said it was good. Yeah. And the 7th day he rested, but I want to speak on God's like diligence. He continued to go, and he knew that I shouldn't stop here. And I think for us as believers, many times we fall in positions where, we do want to stop. We don't want to do anything. And for me, like I like to say I'm a victim. I fall prone to procrastination sometimes.
Good word for it.
I don't feel like doing this. Man, like I can do it later, and just pushing things to the side. But ultimately, like at the end, like that's actually hindering me more than it's benefiting me. And so procrastination is something I've been struggling with through my life. And I think like moving forward is something like, okay, like Jaira, I need you to be diligent. Like I need you to focus more on these things because, you know, you're actually doing more harm. You're just cheating yourself out from a potential reward that you can get if you would continue on that path. So with you and diligence, what are some areas that you have grown in diligence in maybe the past year or two?
Man, dang, that's a good question, bro. I would probably say just handling trials, man. Like handling trials is huge because I remember when I first, started, my walk with Jesus, man, like every time a trial came, like I will fold. I will fold, But like, recently I've been through some trials where, I just, God held me down. Like he was my anchor to the ground and I just kept, relying on him and like, not folding, but standing strong in those trials, man. So I feel like, that just, that's just with life, and, because, Christ is just the center of my life, man. And so it's just like, man, if my relationship with Christ is going good, man, life is going good. So, so that's what it really is, man. But I think that's just a huge area because that's like all the areas just stem from that. So that's what I'd probably say for me, bro, 100%.
I just want to say it was huge how you said that you get back up, but you understand that there's stuff still coming towards you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so true. Because I've never thought about it in that context or anything. But with that habit, I think of it as I used to play these games on the iPhone and all that. But as you conquer something, then you get bigger, and you conquer something, then you get bigger. And it's like, man, after you've conquered 7 different things, in my eyes, it's easier to get up on the 8th time because you've already conquered 7 different times. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to say on that because I never thought about that. Because it's true. Because I'm at my age now, I'm gonna have struggles coming. There's just I have my whole adult life ahead of me. I'm gonna have struggles coming. But as I look back on these other struggles I passed, I'm bigger. So that was huge. That was huge. But it's that continuance, that persistence.
Facts. What does diligence mean to you, my brother?
Oh man, that's a great question. So I saw this picture today, and it was really like encouraging to me. Like I thought I've never seen this picture like this, but really it said this on the picture. It said, everybody wants the finished picture, but nobody wants to become dull. And there was a picture of 2 pencils. The pencil that was sharpened, the pencil that was dull. But you know that the only way that you can get a dull pencil is that you actually put the work in and start drawing on the picture for it to become dull. But everybody wants the finished picture, but nobody wants the process of becoming dull, putting that work in. And so for me, like when I think of diligence, I think of continuously working on trying to become dull. Right? Daring to be dull in any setting that I'm going to be in.
Daring to be dull.
Because I think doing that, it's like, hey, at least I'm giving my all. At least I'm putting effort behind it. Because a lot of us, right, may struggle with just wanting the picture and not putting the work behind it. And what we have there is just an unused pencil.
Facts.
And that's nothing. There's no fruit from an unused pencil, right? Because now the pencil is not fulfilling its purpose. And for us, when we're in that circumstance or situation where we have to be diligent, we have to put work or effort into something, we must become dull. We must put the work in behind it. And so I think of diligence, man. I think of like really just honing in on something that's in front of you, attacking it daily and approaching it with a mindset of like, I'm going to do this, right? Not, even when I fall or even when I fold, right? I'm going to continue to do it because of what the overall picture will look like once I put the work in behind it. The picture is going to look better when I use the pencil. But if I don't use the pencil, it'll just be a blank piece of paper.
Facts. Some of that, like you say, daring to be dull,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Let's dare to be diligent.
Woo!
Dare to be diligent.
Type number 2.
I wasn't going to say it, but I thought it.
But nah, like, also with diligence, like, it's a motto where our team's motto is just like, pound the pavement. It's just like, continue to pound the pavement every single day. And like, I think about that just like with our relationship with God. God is not like, give me this amount, but he's like, give me what you have. And so that's why I feel like we should do every day is, give the day what we have, you know what I'm saying? And so just continue to pound the pavement. Like, no matter how hard, no matter how tough it is, no matter, any type of circumstances, just continue to pound the pavement. That's why I think just like it relates to just diligence, man. It's just like continuing to keep going, no matter what's going on, just keep walking. What's that Dory Finding Nemo? Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, man. Just keep swimming, man. So bro, that's what I think, in regards to, bro. Just keep swimming, bro.
That's smooth.
I was processing as you had mentioned how this summer both of us had spoken about how we don't always feel like getting into our Bible and praying, doing all those things. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's in the persistence that we tend to grow and we start to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because again, 7 days, I don't feel like getting up and getting into it. You know what I'm saying? But it's because I do it on day 4 and 5 that I don't really want to. That makes 6 and 7 even better.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so I've always grown in the continuance, even in doing things I don't want to do, because of what I can learn inside that will help me for the continued continuance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Building them habits, bro. That's real talk.
That's good. And I'm thinking of this picture of like a continuum, right? And for us to continue, like the end of the continuum is the cross for us. Yes. Now, I think everybody has to identify what they want on the end of that continuum, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, there's no diligence to put behind it. So something that really like rocked my world last year, and I want to allude to a point that you made earlier, like just spending time with the Lord. Michael Williams, this dude, dropped a gem.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you what he said, bro. He said, if I
tell him, Jared.
If I don't start my day off spending time with the Lord, the rest of my day is compromised, bro. The rest of my day is compromised. Now, if I don't get my source, my substance from God, now I'm treating my wife poorly. Now I'm not going into work with a good mindset. Now I'm just feeling all bad and stuff, right? In the same way for us as believers, if we are not getting our source from God, spending time and being diligent with Him, then how can we expect to have any good fruit from any of the things that we do, right? I think of people in the Bible, what do? They worked and they were continuous fellowship with God, right? They were diligently seeking God out in everything that they were doing. And Micah told me this, and I was like, man, like, it really convicted me because I was spending time like, oh man, I don't feel like reading the word today, man. I've been doing school all day, bro. Man, I've been doing project after project, bro, assignment after assignment, bro. I don't feel like doing nothing. And he said that, I'm like, dang, the reason why I feel like this is because I'm not spending my time with the Lord. Because He's the one that He sustains me. He gives me the energy to be diligent. But once it happens with me starting being diligent with Him, focusing on Him, prioritizing time with Him, and then going from there, He takes care of the rest. Now, when I spend time with the Lord, I got the joy to go into any circumstance. The Lord gives me that joy. Yeah. And this starts off with me prioritizing time with Him with continuous fellowship after being diligent to open up my word, to seek Him out in all the things that I do.
Preach up. But that's so real, and that just convicted me so heavy because, I just had a, great stretch of 2 weeks of me just putting God first, like literally waking up, hey, I'm in my word. First thing, I'm getting my word before I'm even thinking about touching my phone, you know what I'm saying?
Which is key,
right? Which is key. And so today, I did not make that decision because I was feeling bad for myself. I was like, man, yesterday, tough day at work, you know what I'm saying? I'm just tired.
12 hours.
12 hours. Got that out. But just like, I'm feeling bad for myself. Like, dang, work was tough, man. Like, I was just bored. I didn't want to be there. I'm just tired, feeling bad for myself. And it was just like, man, woke up straight to the phone, man. And I'm just like, whole day, compromised. And so that really convicted me because now it's kind of like, hey, we're trending back up. It's time to wake up tomorrow, straight to the word. Go to bed, straight in the word. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Michael Williams, though, man.
Hey, that's all credit to Michael Williams, bro. Inspired by God, bro.
For sure, bro. But something I love that you said, bro, is that joy of the Lord, bro. And like, also just like putting God first. It's just, it says, seek first the kingdom of God. I ain't gonna say the KJV this time.
Seek ye first.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. But like you talk about that joy of the Lord, that's one of the things that's going to be added unto you. You know what I'm saying? Like continuously throughout the day with a whole plethora, surplus of more things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we just got to put God first in every single situation. Holy Spirit preaches to myself, man.
Hey, that's a bar.
No, I was going to hop off. So it's the source. You know what I'm saying? The source and the rest is compromised. As we always say, what is it? A bad tree can't produce good fruits. You know what I'm saying? Because what is the source? if the source is bad, good can't come out. If the source is good, bad can't come out. So if your source is God, that's not saying that you aren't going to have a bad day, but you might see it in a different way.
Oh, talk to him, bro. Dang, yo.
But it's so true. But again, if you start off bad, all the rest, compromise.
Compromise.
Compromise. No, I like both the points that you guys made. Like, you talked about seeking first his kingdom. And I want to focus on that first word, seek. In order to seek, there's effort behind it. So for me to seek God's kingdom, I have to be diligent.
Yo, I'm so sorry. But seek is just I'm so big on this word. Because it isn't look, it isn't find, it's seek. But when you seek for something, you aren't going to stop looking until you find it.
Exactly.
If you seek for a phone, you ain't going nowhere until you find that phone. Oh, I'm looking for my phone, or I might look, I might not. But when you seek, bro, you're flipping bed sheets, you're looking everywhere, the rooms, you're looking at your drawer, you look very because you're seeking for it. You're not just looking, you're seeking for it.
So real, and that's crazy.
So I had to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's real, bro. And that's crazy because we were reading 1 Peter, bro. We was reading 1 Peter 3, and it says, "Blessed is the one who seek peace and pursues it." You feel what I'm saying? So not only
pursues it.
Exactly. So you talking about seeking? Hey, you going beeline to that thing. And then, not only that, but also pursuing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is what I want every single day. When you pursue something, so say we pursuing a goal, diligence. Hey, I'm doing anything I can to reach that goal every single day. Anything I can, any means possible. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy when we talk about seek and then pursue, like, and that's the same thing. Like, bro, Holy Spirit convict me. No,
but no, I'm sorry.
But go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good. I mean, you guys just took the words out of my mouth. Essentially, like if I'm seeking, if I'm pursuing, if I'm chasing after my source, now it opens up the door for the rest of my day, or the rest of my week, the rest of my month, the rest of my year, so on and so forth. And I think it's pivotal, it's vital that every day as believers that we should continue to open up fellowship with God daily, because He is the source. He is the one that sustains us through it all. Throughout the summer, I realized that, you know, I didn't have as much time like prioritize the Lord because we were just on the move day in and day out. And something that my guy Corbin told me, bro, is that God sustains us through it all. And sometimes it's not always just like, you know, reading the word that you seek God out in, but we were seeking God out through the work that we were doing, the conversations that we were having. We were having conversations with students, right? Encouraging them. And that's a moment where God's presence is right there, ordaining that moment, authoring that moment at the beginning of time. And so encouragement to you guys is like, okay, if your schedule is busy, right, and you can't open up the Bible, you don't have time to prioritize where you're just actively learning new things, then make other opportunities where you can invite God's presence into your life. I
like that.
Because now that becomes the source in different environments. And now you don't have to rely on man, I don't have my Bible with me, or I have no Wi-Fi for that version, bro. But I do have a spiritual conversation that I can potentially have with this person right here. And then I realized in the midst of my spiritual conversation this summer how much joy they would bring to me after I realized, like, dang, like, this person may be struggling with all these things and they might not even know God. For me to be able to share my testimony with that person and to see how that person reacted to it was like, this is giving me so much joy because I've been able to see what God has been able to do in my life. Yeah. And so inviting God's presence in different environments, that's also another form where you can connect to God's source. But you have to be diligent to do that. I have to actively seek out conversations. I have to pursue different environments where I'm inviting God's presence in order for me to be sustained by God.
Bro, I love what you said. It's just like invite His presence in. And, you know, my friend sent me a devotional today and it was talking about, you know, a prayer that you can say is like, God, allow me to recognize your presence in every single situation. And so, and it compared it to analogy. It was like, hey, like, you know, that presence, when you invite that presence in, when you have it with you everywhere, it's like a song playing in the background while you're doing your various activities, while you're at work, sports, whatever. But what you know that you're, hey, I'm cognitive of God's presence is huge. It's a game changer. But like you said, like, you have to be diligent to get that first. You have to be diligent to pray, bro. You have to be diligent to read your word. And it starts off how you start the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's huge.
It's that source.
Bro, that's huge. And like, also, like, I was reading Luke chapter 12 verse 30, and like the back half.
Oh, that's a bar.
The back half of it, it says, "And your Father knows you need these things." But it's like, your Father knows you need these things, but are you going to put Him first, bro? Huge, bro.
Something I've been huge on, again, just that is a continuance, is praying, bro. I mean, it took me 20 years until I was like, bro, I was like, yeah, praying's okay, but like God knows what's gonna happen in the end. But so I started praying every day, but then also I started praying and keeping God first in my prayers. Because being a kid, your prayers are, I hope I do well on this math test. Now it's like, nah, man, it's God-centered prayer, you know what I'm saying? And keeping, because again, not everybody has that time to open up the word very first thing, or maybe you got this, or you're out of town, so you're at someone else's crib or something. But praying, bro, before I touch my phone every morning, I'm 10 minutes at least, man, just saying, but also just keeping God first in each prayer. You know, I pray for some podcasts too. I pray for every person that they are able to hear God speaking to them, not just us. You know, take us out of the way. It's that God-centered prayer. But keeping that as the source, bro, game changer. But on days I don't pray, maybe I'm at someone else's house or all this, something happens, man, it'd be a little bit of a struggle. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a struggle. But if I got the source there, good tree, good fruits.
From two things that I've been able to pull, or just one thing that I've been able to pull from both of your ideas, is like, diligence is rooted in obedience. And if we aren't obedient, there's no way that we can be diligent.
It's a bar.
If we are looking at different scenarios in our life, if we are not obedient, there's no way that we can possibly be diligent. Right? And most of the stories, not most, all of the stories in the Bible happen from a form of obedience, which then entered a form of diligence. It was because they were obedient, they were able to step out on faith. Right? And now that faith produces this diligence, this continuous diligence throughout the entire course of their lives after they stepped out on that faith. So for us as believers, we have to be obedient. Why not? I'm saying this from like last episode, not only just because it affects ourselves, because of those around us. When we aren't diligent, when we aren't getting our source, well, think about the people that are affected by our decisions from that moment. Oh, I don't feel like reading my Bible. Okay, we'll talk about that. The 100 people that you maybe encountered today because of that. Oh man, like I haven't been seeking out, I haven't been praying to people, or I've been praying about people. Now guess what? God can't move in that prayer because I didn't pray in that prayer. But diligence is rooted in obedience. I had to be obedient to God's commands. So I had to seek him out, be obedient. I got to pray because I know that he's my source. And when I identify that he's my source, from there I can go and now I can put the diligence behind it. Now I can start praying for people. And now I can start seeing the hand of God move and work through the different situations, the different environments in my life. But diligence is rooted in obedience.
Just an extra in God's film. I'm going to say it every episode.
Just
an extra in God's film. Try to point to him every time.
For real.
That's all I got.
Something that I love that you said was that word obedience. And what I learned from a good friend, obedience does not equal agreement. This does not equal agreement.
Wait, that's for the Patreon, bro. That's for the Patreon, bro. This is the free version.
Facts. The free version. But like, obedience does not equal agreement. So like we said, like, we may want to wake up and get straight on the phone. You want to do anything else but pray, but read your Bible, but we're being obedient. You're being diligent.
I'll catch y'all next week. Yes, I'll catch y'all next week.
We're being obedient and we're being diligent. We have to do these things. It doesn't mean agreement. Give you think we talk about like even our parents, you know what I'm saying? Like our parental relationship, right?
Yeah.
We look at it, they tell us to do stuff. Hey bro, do the dishes. Me, I hate doing the dishes, bro. With a passion in me, bro. I hate doing the dishes. They tell me, hey, do the dishes. I have to do the dishes out of obedience and respect to them.
Not out of
agreement. You know
agreement.
what I'm saying? Right, exactly. I may not agree with doing the dishes, but I have to because out of obedience. You know what I'm saying? So obedience does not equal agreement, bro.
That's for the Patreon, bro.
That's a bar right there. Hey, you just dropped the gem.
Yo, I wasn't expecting that one.
Man, dude. One last thing I want to say, man, is like, just paint a picture of God, right? We give God all the glory, and I want to really want to like hone in on like that word diligence, and I want to just to give us that picture, like the illustration of God's diligence. But if God wasn't diligent with us, what would our lives look like? We would not be here if God was not diligent with us. If God just stopped working, just for a slight second, you imagine how many things would fall apart in our lives? And so if we can learn, like as God is diligent in all the things that happens, all the blessings that happen from God working in our lives, then shouldn't we embody that ourselves as believers? Shouldn't we be diligent because of what God can do through us with us being obedient to him? So if he were to stop his diligence for just a slight moment, or maybe a day,
oh man,
we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to say nothing. This problem would not be happening.
It's a wrap.
If God were to stop his diligence.
Facts.
So if God shouldn't stop his diligence, then why would we want to stop our diligence?
Because that's who we're trying to be like.
Every single day.
Exactly. and knowing that Jesus is the blueprint, so we should try to be exactly like that.
And seek
Exactly, bro. That's real. And just like you talked about, like, you know, God continuously works every single day. It's just like, think about it, like, how many times that God is provided in our lives.
Yeah.
He provides for us every single day. He knows the things we need when we need it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, hey, that's the diligence. But it's like, why shouldn't I pay my due respect back to him and start my day off with him and start my day off in his presence and invite his presence in everywhere I go? You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. Hey, bro, Holy Spirit's moving. I got one more thing to say, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
Dude, bro,
You about to be here all night, man.
Listen, because I feel like a lot of times people are afraid to start because they're uncertain of the outcome.
Yeah.
But many times as people, just in general, right, we want to know that outcome before we can move. But see, a lifestyle as a believer is like we don't need to know the outcome. We just have to start. And I feel like for us, like I think about the stories in the Bibles, right? Like God never told them the outcome that would happen. He just said, I would be with you. Right? And for us, it's like, oh man, God, like I'll do this when you tell me what happens exactly. If you tell me that if I go this and talk to this person, and then the fruit that can be produced from that conversation, then I'll talk to that person. But God's like, no, like I want you to start now. I want you to be diligent now because of obedience. Because when I see your obedience, now I can reward you. Now I can have my hand move throughout your life. But God is diligent with us, right? And he does not need to tell us the outcome for us to know that he's a good God, that he's sovereign, that he's in control. So we have to understand, like, okay, man, I don't need the outcome to start. I just have to start. I have to take that step of faith. You see, on the water, Peter didn't know that he'd be able to walk. Jesus said, just step out on the water. He didn't say, oh, you would drown, right? Peter told him to go. What did Peter do? Okay, he went onto the water. Inevitably, he drowned, but he took that step initially.
Because you can't get on the water if you don't get out the boat.
You got to get out the boat.
But I also want to say, I heard this 1,000 times being a kid, but all of us don't have to know the story because we know the author. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you talking, bro.
And bro, that's so real, because if God showed us the destination, we would do anything in our power to try to get there the wrong way.
Jonah.
Exactly. And on top of it, if God showed us the journey, we would do anything to try to change the journey, bro. And just like you talking about, like, hey, Jesus said, follow me. They didn't know where they was going.
No.
Jesus said, follow me.
He said, follow me.
And what did they do? Out of obedience, they followed him. You know what I'm saying?
With no agreement.
And no, hey, it may not be.
They not agree, bro.
But they said, follow me. You got to think about it. Matthew, this dude is a tax collector.
Yeah.
He had bread. You know what I'm saying? He had bread. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus came to me, follow me.
Yeah.
He dropped all his stuff, followed him. You know what I'm saying? So why can't we be like that, you know?
Hey,
that's for the Patreon.
Hey man, that about $20.99, bro. But you can catch us on Black Friday. $10.25. Man, I appreciate y'all. That's a lot of gems in there, man.
For sure.
Man, that's real, bro.
Diligence,
bro.
bro.
Man, bro. Anyways, bro, we out here, man. Deuces.